We surely must consider ourselves as fortunate to live in a time and in a place where for the majority of us death comes in a discreet, almost a civilized way. For very often, thank goodness, she will come robed in the garments of timeliness, sometimes even with kindness and relief as her handmaids, so that loved ones left say she lived a good long life, or he's free from suffering now. I'm afraid I'm not convinced by the disguises death may assume. We are hoodwinked because we become accustomed to the loved one who is frail or poorly. But you see, these are death's forerunners, her scouts, whom she sends out before her to spy out the territory she will conquer. Sometimes, however, death forgets herself and comes without disguises. And there are probably many of us here today who unfortunately have seen that face without makeup or veil. Those who have lost dear ones, who have, as we say, gone before their time, snatched away by a cruel illness or a tragic accident. In the account of the Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ, we have laid out before us the horror of death, stark and bleak. Here is the worst of death: cruel, vindictive, undeserved, violent, gore-drenched butchery. Few methods of execution devised by man bring the flesh to its end in so slaughterous a way. This death, thus endured, however, makes it different. Christ's sacrifice in his human body is given infinite value by his divinity. The value specifically, then, is amply sufficient for the restoration of the original project. That is, God's plan to share his life and to share his glory. Have you ever been to a funeral where there's a professionally made order of service, often illustrated with photographs? I think these are very valuable, not just because they tell people when to stand up and when to sit down, but because often, when you turn a page or look at the back cover, you see a photograph of the deceased, not frail and full of years, as you will have seen them recently, but in their salad days, sometimes gallant in uniform or sporting the fashions of the day, but always youthful and full of life. For the Christian, a funeral service is no mere celebration of life, of a life well lived, or even thanksgiving for it. We acknowledge and rejoice in the eternity promised to us and won for us on the cross. We cannot be taken in by peaceful death. It is always an abomination. succumbing to the enemy. It must be endured, however, as Christ endured his death. But by uniting ourselves to Christ in this life, and by sharing his death, as he shares his nature with us, we participate also in his resurrection.